Hello, my name is Alberto Aveleyra. I'm an anthropologist and historian. I work as a researcher with the Friends of the Historical Museum of San Miguel. So, welcome to the House of Allende. This is the Historical Museum of San Miguel de Allende, a World Heritage City, part of the UNESCO list. And today I'm going to share with you a beautiful project which main goal was to decolonize the narrative of the historical museum of this incredible city. Come with me. The Museum of San Miguel is in the historic center of the city, in front of the parish and in front of the statue of the founder of the city. Many of us think that it's time to question the image of the statue. It's time to question that the Spaniard is standing and the native is in his knees. In order to do that, we developed a project to rescue the indigenous heritage of San Miguel. Now we are inside the house of Allende, the local hero of San Miguel. In the 80s, a group of San Miguelenses gathered in order to create the Friends of the Historical Museum. And the main goal of this non-governmental association was to transform the house of the local hero in the historical museum of the city. They were able to do that in 1990, when this museum was inaugurated with a different museography. That museography used to tell the story of San Miguel since pre-Hispanic times. But in 2010, with the decennial of the independence of Mexico, the government decided to change the museography of the museum and focus only in the 3 centuries of viceroyal history. Focus only on the 3 centuries of colonial history, and focus, of course, in the role of Allende on the independence movement of Mexico. But in the moment they did that, they began to present a biased history of San Miguel. So for 10 years, most people came to this museum thinking that history of San Miguel started in the 16th century, when that's totally inaccurate. And that's why we decided to start the Izcuinapan project. The Izcuinapan project was a project created to rescue the most important archaeological collection of San Miguel, and also to create a new archaeological hall inside the museum in order to decolonize the history shown in this important heritage space. So, through the Izcuinapan project, we were expecting to pass from 3 centuries of colonial history to 1,300 years of history. Of those 1,300 years, 1,000 years of indigenous history that was not told in the museography of 2010. Let me show you where we start to do this project in the archaeological lab of this museum. So, my friends, we just saw that the narrative of the Historical Museum of San Miguel, it's only focused on the 3 centuries of Spanish history of this Mexican city. So the challenge of the Izcuinapan project was to decolonize this narrative through the inclusion of 1,000 years of indigenous history. And how we were going to do that? Rescuing the most important archaeological collection of San Miguel. That because tragical events, the collector committed suicide and the government took away more than 2,000 archaeological objects from San Miguel, and they sent it to other parts of Mexico. So after 50 years that collection was taken away from San Miguel people, we did all the necessary efforts to bring it back. But in order to be able to host such a big collection, we had to transform the old room for conferences of the museum in a repository and an archaeological lab. So what you are looking is the repository where we are hosting more than 2,000 archaeological objects. Yeah. The first thing we have to do was from those 2,000 archaeological objects, select 250. And then from those 250 objects, we select 135 in order to create a new story about San Miguel, in order to create this new archaeological hall where we are going to show the public of the museum, the citizens of San Miguel, 1,000 years of history, of indigenous history that happened before the Spaniards were here. We have been working on that for the last 3 years, and we are very happy to share with you that the most important magazine in Mexico on archaeology just published the results of our research on the identity of the native groups of San Miguel. And what we are proposing here is that the natives of San Miguel were speaking the same language as the Aztec people, the Nahuatl language. But not only that, that the archaeological site here in San Miguel is the mythological Chicomostoc, the place of the seven caves, a place of origin not only for the Nahuatl people, but for many other indigenous nations. So what we are discovering here with the ancestors is little by little changing the history of San Miguel. And the idea of decolonizing the museum was like the arrow that leaded all our efforts in this project. So, the 26th of October of 2022, we inaugurated the new permanent archaeological exhibition of the Historical Museum of San Miguel, the Izcuinapan Hall. And with this hall, we are changing deeply the experience of the visitor in the museum and in San Miguel de Allende. Because in Mexican official history, San Miguel is super well known because this is the place where the independence against Spain started. But Mexican people are not aware that in this same place that the independence of Mexico started 1,000 years before, incredible native societies developed with the same high knowledge of astronomy as the Mayas or the Teotihuacan people in central Mexico. So nowadays, the experience of the visitor of this museum has changed deeply. After doing the journey throughout the colonial, viceroyal part of the museum, they end that journey exactly here in the gate of entrance of the Izcuinapan Hall, and everything changed. And who is giving the welcome to all of them? The guardian, this native deity, this native leader represented in this effigy urn. This object was one of the most important ceremonial objects that was used in San Miguel from the 6th to the 11th century. But for me, the most important thing is that when we see his face, we are looking the face of the natives of pre-Hispanic San Miguel. The story we tell in this hall is the story of 1,000 years of farming people that established in San Miguel at the beginning of our era, that started building pyramids made of stone with astronomical orientation since the 6th century. Groups that had to abandon this territory seems because of climate change in the 11th century. So, after the public visit these two halls on the archaeology of San Miguel, on the native people of San Miguel, what we, the curators, are hoping is that when they go out of the museum and they see the statue of the monk with the Chichimeca native, they question that image. That after being here, they go out and they see that statue, and that in their mind they can recognize that that statue is not an accurate representation of the past.
Para poder caminar, somaban los cuatro vientos para poder caminar.
Primeramente Dios, después de Dios y las ánimas benditas de su santo y hermoso centro, que vengan y presenten.
Le daban gracias
Pedimos el permiso médico
y a la tierra por igual, y a la tierra por igual.
Padre Santo, Señor Dios Todopoderoso, primeramente Dios y después de Dios y la Santísima Tierra. Dios y de ahí de los cuatro seres vivientes, el aire, la tierra y el fuego. San Felipe Neri, San Felipe de Jesús. Santa Cruz del Cerro, la comunidad protege y cure todo mal. Te lo pedimos con el Padre Santo, Señor Dios Todopoderoso, se encuentra. El mal para que proteja, para que cure, para que el mal santo Dios Todopoderoso.
Al valle de los Nahuas, largo fue el peregrinar. En una cuenta. Con Dios sabrá amar aquellos tiempos cuando los tiempos en una cuenta.
Y habrá tiempos de la
Vida,